Hello everyone, I am Mauli Baviskar, founder and executive director of Damru Yoga and Sound Therapy Studio. This particular video is made specially for doctors and all the healthcare providers who come in direct contact with the COVID-19 patients. Since the lockdown on 23rd March 2020, we have been offering free yoga sessions to all the healthcare providers, police personnel and armed forces globally. But as we progress 2 months down the lane, I feel that it is very important to design specific practices for those who are absolutely frontline and coming in direct contact with the COVID positive patients. So this is a small effort from my side, though I understand that there are a lot of factors that come into play when it comes to fighting coronavirus. Breathing, nonetheless, is one of the very important factors. Now again, when we talk about breathing, today in this video I will be focusing more on the respiratory system, and also there is one aspect of boosting the immunity. We can take care of that in some other video. Today we will work on our respiratory system. So there are certain topics that I have thought of while designing the sequence of this video. So one, taking care of or developing a good vital lung capacity. Second is, of course, you guys are working day in and day out, and I understand that this definitely can create a lot of stress and anxiety, and for sure a lot of sleep deprivation. So the second point that we will take care of is to deal with stress, anxiety and sleep deprivation. The third one is to empower the first, second and third line of defense along the respiratory pathway. And the fourth, which is to create a vibrational shield around you, something beyond the physical, because I know that all the physical aspects, the PPE kits and all the cares that has to be taken care of, and your diet and a lot of things that you already are taking care of, something beyond that from the energetic realm, that would be the fourth practice that we will learn. So let's go step by step, but I'll take the step 2 first before step 1. Step 1 was about the lung capacity and the second was about stress and anxiety. I think if we deal with stress and anxiety, automatically you will get a good space to work on your lung capacities. When you are stressed, you will not get a good lung capacity. So first, and a very simple but a very effective way to manage your stress and anxiety is to breathe right into your abdomen, the lower abdomen. So what happens is, when you breathe deep into the abdominal cavity, you are actually triggering off your parasympathetic response. So that will automatically bring down your stress levels. See, breathing and mind or our emotions or feelings are so intricately connected. You can observe that for yourself. Check your breathing when you are angry, check your breathing when you are happy, check your breathing when you are really tensed or stressed. So let's change the breathing to change now how we feel, right? So this was about the emotional tangent of what happens when we do abdominal breathing. But what about the physiology and how does that respond to abdominal breathing? See, when you do breathe deep into your abdomen, essentially you are working on increasing your tidal volume. And this in turn actually helps in increasing the tidal volume versus the dead space volume ratio, which again therefore helps us in increasing the ventilation perfusion ratio, and this gives you a nice effective breath. So keep one hand over your chest, another over your belly, navel down. Okay, don't keep it in the upper belly, navel down. And now just breathe and watch where is your breath going. As you breathe in, either the chest can expand or both the stomach and chest can expand, but we can voluntarily choose where to work. So work on your lower belly. As you breathe in, my chest is absolutely steady and I expand my belly. As I breathe out, I allow my belly to contract. Inhale, expand your belly as if it is a balloon. As you exhale, contract your belly. Keep doing this. You can do this for say 12 to 15 breaths and you will see a very sharp change in your stress levels or the way you feel. You'll feel calmer. So first, abdominal breathing. We will again now come back to sleep deprivation later. Now let's go to the lung capacity. But when I say we do a particular breathing ratio for lung capacity, remember it is going to be in the abdominal breaths, not in the chest. So remember the first point throughout the practice now, unless I tell you to change it. You will breathe into your abdomen, but now we will give a time to our breath. So I want you to breathe in 4 counts. You will hold your breath inside for 2 counts. Breathe out for 4 counts. Hold your breath for 2 counts. And we're going to do 1 step higher after learning this. So keep your right hand over your lower belly, and as you breathe in, inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, and now hold inside for 1 and 2. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold inside for 1 and 2. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, hold there for 1 and 2. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, hold there for 1 and 2. Practice this for a while. When you think you've got the knack of it, 4-2, 4-2 is the ratio. Inhale, inhale, hold, exhale, exhale, hold. Yeah. Now a slight extra edge to what we are doing. So remember this ratio 4-1, 4-1. Till now we were working on 4-2, 4-2. Now we add one more element. So I will inhale in 1, 2, 3, 4, hold for 1 and 2. At this point I will take a powerful inhale just for 1 count. So I am breathing slightly more, and then exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, hold your breath outside for 1 and 2, and now breathe out with force for 1 count. All the residual air is going out, and then again inhale. So we will continue with 4-2-1, 4-2-1. The more better your exhalation becomes, the better you'll be able to inhale. So, and then sometimes a lot of people come to me, and it's not that they force, when I teach them the techniques, it's not that they're forcing into a longer breath, but they see that their natural capacity is much more than what they perceive it. So that just an edge of little extra will give you slightly more oxygenation, right? So let's do it 3 times, and then you can carry it forward for yourself, and then we will move to the next technique. So your palm over your lower belly. Remember 4-2-1, 4-2-1. We will do it 3 times. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold there for 1, 2, 1 breath, and exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold there for 1 and 2. Exhale. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold there 1 and 2. Inhale. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath out for 1, 2, and exhale. Again, one last time. Inhale 1, 2. Expand your belly. 3, 4. Hold your breath in. 1 and 2. Inhale with a force, and exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath out for 1, 2, and exhale. And you can go on like that. You will see that it is just giving you 1 extra edge over your normal breathing capacity, and slowly from 4 and 2 and 1 you can slightly then start increasing within your comfort zone, though never force yourself, but within your capacity from 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7, whatever is your lung capacity. It will keep changing as you practice, and then you can increase your holds, and then you can increase the sniffs, the extra ones that you take. So change your ratios, but go slow. Start with 4-2-1, 4-2-1. Okay. Okay. So now we come back to a pranayam practice, which is a foundational pranayam, which most of you might have seen in the videos, but let's learn the correct technique to do that. It is called Anulom Vilom. Again, it will balance the right brain and left brain. It actually brings our whole system in a nice balance and synchronization. It's also a cleansing pranayam. And so see, my left hand is in chin mudra, the thumb and first finger together, palm facing up, and it can rest on my knees or my thigh. My right hand, first two fingers are at the base of the thumb, the third and fourth are together. So when I turn my palm, I have a handle with my thumb and with my third finger, right? We're going to breathe in and out alternatively through both the nostrils. If you already have a stuffy nose or a blocked nose, avoid this practice. But when you have an open pathway, please do this. This is a very important pranayam. So you would have seen people in the gardens. They are like huffing and puffing and pushing the nose here and there, making loud sounds. We will not make sound at all. No friction, no sound, no effort, which means that you should not be able to hear the sound of your own breath. That soft. Okay. So I take a nice deep breath. Again, remember abdominal breaths. Breathing into your abdomen. Now block the right nostril. Exhale through the left. Inhale through the left nostril. Close the left nostril with the ring finger, the third finger. Exhale through the right nostril. Inhale through the right. Close it with the thumb and exhale through the left. This is one round. We will do one more round. Inhale through the left. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Exhale through the left. Remember, you start and end your practice at your left nostril. This will help you to remember the sequence. So that was one round. Left to right to left again. You can do again 12 to 15 rounds of these. And always remember to keep your exhalation slightly longer or at least equal to your inhalation. While making this video, I am not going into the anatomy of the respiratory system because I am talking to doctors. You guys know much more than me. So I am directly moving into the practices. So we have taken care of the lung capacity, the stress, anxiety. Anulom Vilom will help a lot in this, abdominal breathing. And one main factor that comes in is sleep deprivation. And you know that a compromised sleep means a less rested brain, which is definitely going to affect your immunity. But there are techniques in yoga which can compensate with the sleep deprivation. And so I'm going to teach you a pranayam known as Bhramari. 20 minutes of Bhramari is equivalent to 4 hours of sleeping. It is that effective. If you may not have time for 20 minutes, at least try it for 5 to 10 minutes. And one more thing that Bhramari does, simple humming. It's a very simple pranayam but a very, very powerful one. So when you are doing the humming sound, we will learn the pranayam. It's a nasal sound. So see, when you breathe in, the first line of defense is your nose and the nasal and the paranasal sinuses. So if you can create something that can act as a defensive mechanism right here, a lot of infection can get stopped right there. Because paranasal sinuses play a very important role in prevention of any lung infections, and at the same time they also help in improving the ventilation perfusion ratio. So when you do a lot of humming, and this is research, there is something called nitric oxide which is released in the brain, in the nasal cavities, in the gut. There are different sites at which it is released. This nitric oxide actually works as an antimicrobial and an antiviral, and also it releases a surfactant which helps to prevent the collapse of the alveoli. So it's a very important role of Bhramari, one as first line of defense and another to cope up with your sleep deprivation. It's a very simple pranayam. Let's learn it. We want to create a humming sound like a sound of a honeybee, and it is the sound of it's a sound of NG. When you say Ganga or when you say king or ring, the NG sound, you're going to create that sound. So the front part of your tongue is relaxed, the back part will touch the palate. Yeah, it's like ka, kha, ga, gha, nga. That nga. It's a nasal sound, purely nasal sound, and we want the vibrations of this to stay within us. When you do that, see, Bhramari primarily works on the head and brain, and it also, one important thing that it does is to bring you to the brainwave state of alpha. And when that happens, definitely your brain is rested well. So take your first finger. We don't need to do any complex mudras. Just take the first finger and just press in the tragus at the ear. You just press the tragus in so the ear gets locked well, and you will listen to your own sound. It will sound a little louder, and you are normally breathing through the nose, and whatever is the length of your exhalation, 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever it is, just create that humming sound. Okay, let's do it together. Join me. Remember to breathe into your abdomen, right? Close your ears. Take a nice deep breath and hum along as you exhale. Breathe in. One more time. We just did it 3 times, and you already might be feeling slightly calmer or a sense of blank emptiness. Do it for 10 to 15 minutes, if possible 20 minutes. While I was doing Bhramari, something came to my mind that I have seen a lot of people, when they do Bhramari, they stress and they create the lines on the forehead and they press the voice. Don't do that. It should be a very light humming kind of a sound. And if you want to remove the wrinkles on the forehead, there is a trick. It might sound silly, but it works. Keep a very small smile on your face while you do Bhramari. You will see that if there is a smile here, there cannot be wrinkles here. Try it out for yourself, but do that, and nobody outside needs to know that. It's an internal, just a gentle slight smile, but it works. And it also works on making you feel good. Maybe there are some endorphins released, we don't know. So okay, from Bhramari, now we come to the second line of defense, which is our throat area. There is a pranayam called Ujjayi. This one is where we constrict the epiglottis slightly, and there is a hissing kind of a sound of your breath. So, well, the function of Ujjayi is much higher, but the side effect is that the throat area, the passage here, stays clean and clear, which is again important for us right now. And there's one more thing that Ujjayi pranayam does. There are baroreceptors here which communicate between the heart and the brain and regulate the heartbeats. It's kind of tricking the baroreceptors into thinking that we are in a relaxed state and the heart needs to calm down. That one more time takes you into the parasympathetic mode. So Ujjayi, when you do a prolonged practice of Ujjayi, you will automatically feel meditative and relaxed. Let's learn Ujjayi. This is my normal breath while I am speaking to you. There is no sound of my breath, right? Now, I can create friction at my nostrils, right? I can create friction of the air at the back side of my nostrils. It's something similar to when we snore. and I can create friction at the vocal cords like I'm doing right now and speaking. So the air is coming right here, or sometimes when we kind of a sound, we get scared and surprised, it goes right down in the vocal cords. Somewhere in between. So not in the vocal cords, not at the back side of your nasal pathway, but here at your epiglottis. I create a slight constriction, and this sound is similar to the sound of the ocean waves, or maybe if you have an air conditioner or a fan going, it's a similar sound. Okay, so listen to me carefully. You are going to create a same sound in inhalation as well as exhalation, and you will notice that if your breath is say 4 seconds and 6 seconds, while you do Ujjayi, it will get long, really long, 4 to maybe double or more than that, but it will need some practice. So focus on the epiglottis and then create that soft sound. Listen to me if you can. You can take my hand as my guideline. As I breathe in, I will take my hand up. As I breathe out, I will take my palm down. So you know whether I'm inhaling or exhaling, and listen to the sound. Okay, so I've taken a deep breath. I'll start on an exhale. You hear that sound? That's a very, very soft sound, and I am not trying to stress here at my collarbones or chest or throat. It's a very soft but a hissing kind of a sound, and you will feel a nice clearing in your throat. So apart of COVID-19, those who are into singing, doctors who are loving singing songs, I get a lot of those. This really helps in developing a good voice. But yeah, not digressing. Staying to the point, now from Ujjayi, we will move to the third line of defense, which is our trachea and the lungs and the alveoli and the proper functioning of the lower respiratory pathway. So we should be learning a breathing technique or a pranayam, which will help in squeezing and expanding the lungs and hence improving the ventilation. Well, Bhastrika, the pranayam that we're going to learn, is slightly advanced pranayam. So there are certain contraindications. So in case you have uncontrolled hypertension or acute asthma or ulcers, or have been operated in the stomach area, abdominal cavity, you will avoid doing this, skip this practice altogether. But we will learn it nonetheless for people who can do it. Bhastrika again is a very forceful inhalation and forceful exhalation through the abdomen. We had learned the abdominal breathing. We will now use certain force when we breathe in and breathe out. What happens, see, while you do Bhastrika, if there is a start of the alveolar collapsing, then because we are forcefully breathing in and out, that can be actually arrested and the alveoli can come back to their normal state, thereby creating a good breathing capacity and fighting the infection. So at a start level, we can stop the alveoli collapsing with Bhastrika. So again, keep your palm at the lower abdomen, so that this is just for proprioception, so that you don't move into the chest. Otherwise, once you get pro, you don't need your hands to be put here or anywhere. Yeah. So right now, hands on the abdomen. As you breathe in, forcefully push out your belly, and as you breathe out, forcefully contract your belly. Let's do 10 counts of Bhastrika for now. Now sit there in silence. Just feel the impact of Bhastrika on your whole system. It also slightly takes you into a hyperventilated state, so it might happen that after Bhastrika, for a while you will not even feel like breathing. And there are certain bandhas to be done after this, but that is beyond this video. So just the basics, and keep doing this. Maybe you can do 30 counts of Bhastrika, but check your capacity. If you feel very tired even in 10 counts, stay at 10 and then slowly increase, right? So that was the whole respiratory pathway taken care of. First line with your Bhramari Pranayam, second with Ujjayi, and third with Bhastrika. Now I know I am talking to allopathy doctors, and we study a lot of anatomy, physiology, how symptomatically things happen and how can we prevent them. But beyond the physical, now I get into my field of alternative medicine, sound. So as a sound therapist, when we talk about vibrations, whenever I create a sound, there are vibrations, or every object, everything has an innate vibrational frequency to it. If we can generate a certain frequencies, they can become like a protective kavach, if you understand, a protective layer or a shell around you. And we're not going to go into any long mantras, don't worry. The most potent and the most powerful sound, with tons of research done now and thousands of years of a tradition going on, we're going to chant the sound Om. If you've heard a term called cymatics, when on a surface there is, say, a sand or some very light material, when it is blasted with the sound of Om, it makes perfect concentric circles. Similarly, when you are chanting Om, and try to chant with a deeper voice, and you should feel the vibrations in your heart, you're creating those concentric circles around you, and that, believe me, is an energetic line of defense for all of us. You can place your palms over your heart so that you can feel the vibrations. Let's connect to those vibrations. Keep the O and the M part equal length. That gives us a good balance. So take a deep abdominal breath. We will do 3 rounds of Om together. Chant along with me. Take a deep breath. Release your palms, open your eyes. If you do none of the breathing exercises that we just discussed, just simply do Om every single day. Okay, you are aligning with the cosmic vibrations. It's not about religion or faith or belief or not belief. It's just aligning with the nature, with the... So there's something also called Schumann resonance. You can Google that. We're not going to get into that. But what I'm trying to say is that I'm not here talking about faith and religion. This is the science that we are talking about, but the science of vibrations. So just to summarize, we started with abdominal breathing. Then we went into the ratios of breathing, 4 to 1, 4 to 1. Third, we learnt Bhramari. No, third was we learnt Anulom Vilom. Fourth, we learnt Bhramari. Fifth, Ujjayi. And sixth, Bhastrika. Seventh, and the most important, we learnt Omkar chanting. So hope this helps you guys, and keep practicing, if not all, any of these whenever you get time. And before I end, a heartfelt salute to all of you guys who are really working day in and day out. And if this video helps you even a bit, I would feel unfortunate enough to contribute my drop into this ocean.